Right, so it's Monday and it's officially the start of fight camp, if we want to put it that way. So we've got less than 6 weeks, which is quite unusual for me. And I've got that 10k race in between, but that's less than 2 weeks. So we're going to have to kind of split this up to make sure that the racing's still the priority right now, with some boxing mixed in. And then for the last 4 weeks, we up the intensity with the boxing stuff where I can. And the running takes a bit more of a wee bit of a drawback. Now I'm really fit, so fitness isn't an issue for me. It's bringing the weight down and just getting sharp again in the ring, getting plenty of sparring and stuff in, which I won't have a problem with if I'm going to be boxing with other people, so it shouldn't be a big issue. So this morning, Monday, what's on the agenda on Monday? Monday's my kind of busiest work day. Sundays and Mondays where I get all my client check-ins, so I'm literally in my room/office basically the full day. And what I'll kind of do is I'll come out here, it's 8-9 AM now, I don't even know what time it is, and get the dog walked and then go straight for there, do a wee bit of mobility stuff in the house, and then I'll go out my run. And today it's like an easy 5 miles, so yesterday's a longer run, this one's more a wee bit of recovery but just acquiring miles. So before I go out I had this, this is just toast, banana, there's some honey on there, and a protein yoghurt. So quite a bit of carbohydrate in that, around about 80 grams and about 30 grams of protein and very low fat. Again, digestibility wise, this is why I'm out walking right now, digest a bit more, and as I said, it gives me plenty of energy for the run. And I'm always going to eat that kind of stuff before the harder sessions, in air quotations, and I always eat that type of food purely based on the fact that that's what I usually eat before races and things like that. So I do this walk with the dog, it's his birthday today, and then head out for this run. Right, so Tuesday is going to be an interval session. Normally I do this down in the gym. I always drop Joseph off at nursery. I normally go straight down to the gym and do it in there because I like doing the controlled intervals on a treadmill to go at the proper pace that I want to go at. But today there has to be a slight change of plan in terms of how we're going to do that. So I'm just going to go and run, there's loops outside of me here. I'm just going to go and run quite a flat loop, and the reason, normally I would run the hills with the harder runs, it doesn't really bother me, but in the sense of the day I've got a wee bit of tightness in my calf, and the last time I tried to run through a wee bit of tightness in my calf slightly tore and I was out for about 5 to 6 weeks. So I'm not going to do that. In fact, if I even remotely feel the calf when I start doing the sprints, I'm just going to pull back. Now this is my last obviously big push. The race is next Sunday, so this week's the last proper, I'm training hard this week in terms of the running. Next week's a wee bit of a taper, and then the boxing training will take over a wee bit. But I've got 2 sessions a day. So for a Tuesday, what I've got, because I'm potentially going to be doing this fight, is I'll do my intervals now, and that's the running side of things, plus it's going to boost my fitness wise and anaerobically for in a ring. And then tonight I'm going through to, I've got PTs anyway, so I'll do personal training sessions through in Kinnock and Glasgow, and then straight after my sessions are done, I'm going to do my own training in boxing. So going to get the run in, and then I'll see you in Kinnock tonight. Right, so my boxing session, and it might not look it when you look at this video, but I am so fatigued here. I can't even explain it. It's been a long time for I've done a double session in this format, and again, just to be really honest with you, we're doing that first real punching session on a Saturday morning, and this being a Tuesday evening, I was still fatigued from that Saturday morning, which is always expected. So when I always get back to doing things like this, I'm very aware of getting that first week out the way.
I need to get that first week out of the way. I know the DOMs, I know the soreness, and that's all going to be there, and it's going to be a bit overwhelming. So at this point here, I'm feeling as sluggish as I could possibly feel, as slow as I could possibly feel, less powerful as I could possibly feel. And I actually came away from this session in a wee bit of a downer, but I know everything's going to be up for here. But it was a good session nonetheless. So I was actually meant to be training today, but I decided not to, because purely what I was saying in the last video, or the last day, is my body was still absolutely broken. So it was only scheduled like a weight training session today, so I've just moved that and I'll do that on Friday. Even alter it a wee bit, because I've got a double session on Thursday, which is a run and then boxing. So opted to just take the wee one down to the animal park, and I mean, he absolutely loves it and he had plenty of fun, but sometimes it's going to have to be like that, where I'm just going to have to amend things to make sure that I don't get broken. Right, so Thursday morning, Thursday AM, so I've already took the dog a walk, and in between client calls, going to have to squeeze in this 6 mile run. So we have 1.5 miles of a warm up, 3 miles at more of a threshold pace, race pace kind of thing, and then 1.5 miles of a cool down. So this is my last real hard run between now and the race. So on Sunday I've got 8 miles to do, but it's just an easy 8 miles, and the day it's doing this. So tonight I'm also back in at Kinnock, got some PTs to do, and I've got Richie coming through to do more pads with me, so I've got that to look forward to. So after obviously up until the race is priority, then after that boxing will be priority. So let's get this 6 miles done and then get into Kinnock and smash the pads tonight. Right, so this pad session I actually felt absolutely brilliant, like a million times better than I have done in previous sessions. And the reason why I'm using paddles, for anybody that kind of knows me, is I've had wrist surgery before, and I was meant to get wrist surgery on my right hand as well, but I opted out of it. So I do get a lot of problems when I'm hitting pads really hard, or when I'm hitting a heavy bag that's really hard. I just really need to be careful with it. But this was the last session, the last round of about a 8-round session, and we decided just to go flat out. So this point here, I'm absolutely dying. I also said earlier on there that I was meant to do a weight training session tomorrow, and my car literally has to go into the garage. On the way in here tonight, the car was flashing, warning, engine overheating and all that kind of thing. And thankfully Scott, who works in there, he's a bit of a mechanic himself, and he kind of came out and said that the fan in the car was away and I needed to take it somewhere, so I had to take it on the way home to somewhere to get it fixed. So I've no car today, which means no gym today, which means I'm just going to be getting about, I don't know, 15,000-20,000 steps in instead. But I'll probably catch up with you tomorrow. Right, so Friday, and like I said previously, I don't have the car today, so normally I have to drive down to the gym. It's about a 5 mile drive, so I've just opted to do a mega amount of steps today. So this is my second walk of the day with the dog. So right now I'll probably finish the day on about 15,000 steps or something like that. Just purely active recovery. Had some client calls today as well, so it's not like you're just sitting about, oh, you've got all the time to do all this. Like, nah, I've had a semi-busy day, but Friday's generally the day I'm a wee bit freer in compared to other days as well. But because I've had this rest day, I was meant to be delaying my sparring, or starting sparring, up until maybe next week. I think I was thinking about starting, but I think because I've had this rest day today and I've not put myself through a weight training routine, that I might just do a wee bit of sparring tomorrow. How do I expect it to go? I don't know. There's some good folk on tomorrow, so it's one of those ones where I've not sparred in quite a number of months actually, so I'm expecting to be sluggish, have a sore head afterwards, all that usual stuff that you get, and I'll probably just need to get smacked 2 or 3 times to properly wake up and get into it. So next time we turn on this camera, it won't be this camera, it'll be a different one. We'll have a wee bit of a view and some sparring. But I'll finish this walk with the dog and that'll be my Friday done. Right, so Saturday,
and Saturday was sparring this morning, so I've just back to sparring and don't know what this looks like on here. Aye, you can probably see it's a bit black. That was kind of like the freak punch for Rab. An uppercut, but listen, let's just go on with it. Right, how did it go? I actually felt much better than I thought it was going to. The thing is with me, is because the fitness is there, it's more of just getting used to that, like taking punches again, moving the head again, letting your hands go a wee bit more again, when to pick the shots, like all your timing, it's all that stuff that I'm really chasing right now. So I think I had about all in about 8 rounds, about 8 2-minute rounds, and I felt great, especially in between it when we doubled the rounds up. So sometimes you're doing rounds back to back, but we'll probably go into triples next week, but doing some of the rounds back to back, my recovery in between the rounds, I felt like I was at a new round, but that's where the fitness is really going to come in. So you guys that don't do your cardio outside the gym, start doing your cardio, start doing your sprints, start doing your anaerobic stuff and making sure that it carries over. But like I said, fantastic, good group as well. Rab's a high level, Dylan's a high level, Chris is tough, Danny moves a lot, like there's just such a good variety, and I would say luckily enough the sparring wasn't that busy today. A lot of people probably think that was a bad thing with the sparring not being busy, but it was actually because it wasn't busy. There was a really good calibre of people there. There wasn't anybody at classes complete novice, like where you just basically go in and you have to move around with them. Everybody gave you a bit of different work, so if somebody's moving a lot you're getting to shut the ring down, and then the guys at a higher level is like causing you to really think more, and you're getting caught way more, which is more important, because for me with sparring was always going to be the telltale sign of how much do you want to do this. Like, it's alright loving doing the training and all that, because listen, I love keeping fit in boxing. It just makes you feel the best, in my opinion. For me, I just feel fantastic when I'm boxing, but it's not that when you're getting your face smashed, when you're getting your eye blackened, when you're getting your face burst. That's when you start to question, do I still actually want to do this? And listen, I went in, Dylan, you'll probably watch this, but I went in and said to Dylan, right, no, I actually said it to everybody, but I don't think everybody knew what I meant, because they just think I'm mad anyway, and I just want to tear up, and that's not really true. But I went in and I was saying, I'm not looking for crazy rounds a day. This is my first round, my first sparring in months, so just looking to take it easy. Get in the first couple of seconds of a round, Dylan hits you with a bit of 6 or 7 punch combo, and I'm like, okay then, that's that out the window, we'll just start having a wee bit more of a tussle, which listen, I'm fine by. And you know what, I'm absolutely grateful he done that, because maybe I was my inner bitch, my wee pussy boy inside me, wanting it a wee bit easier today because I was a bit more tentative. But as soon as I got smacked half a dozen times, I was like, I still want to do this, I fucking love this shit, let's just go, let's just make everybody batter each other. And it's not like that, it's just in my head, I still had that dog in me, and he was still a pup. He wasn't an old dog and didn't want to do it anymore. I actually had to really take myself out the rounds because I would just keep going all day. Sparring felt really good today. Walking the dog just now, beautiful weather, so it's easy. Let this eye heal up over the course of the week. Spar again next week. But I've got 8 miles tomorrow, 8 easy miles. So I'll catch up with you there. Right, so currently out my 8-mile run. So I'm in the middle of mile 5, so about 4.5 miles in. The eye looks very pretty today. The good thing about it is it's not really swollen. It's a wee bit tender, but it looks worse than what it is, which I thought would be the case. So an easy 8 miles today. My brother-in-law's done the London Marathon today, as are a lot of people. So best of luck, Grant, if you ever watch this. He's aiming for a sub 3, and even in my head right now a sub 3 would be like, oh, no way, that's hard. But I don't like those distances anyway. I would rather run an ultra than a marathon, and I'll explain why in maybe another video. But 8 miles to do today, and I would also like to say a massive thanks to Chris, who did get Frankie's sausages this week. So Frank is very grateful, Chris. And again, if you want to buy me a coffee, or more importantly buy Frankie's sausages, there's a link down below. So that's the first week done. Nothing fancy. I didn't do all the boring stuff, like all the family time, all the working calls, all the working this. keep it to my training because that's what people want to see. And if you want to see something else, then let me know. But other than that, I've got a race next week, so I will see you next week.